Hello all, this is Sakshi Kaur and I teach psychology and TOK in JBCN International School. Correct. So the concepts within cognitive approach are very much abstract in nature. So the idea behind this activity was for students to have something tangible that they can look into and connect to the discussions that were happening in the class while explaining as well as evaluating the theory altogether. So I taught schema theory, a part of cognitive approach to human behavior, where we learned how, when one receives some information, how do they organize it? Are there any folders in our mind that it stores information, and does having to store information in folders helps us retrieve information? And so one of the ATL skills I would say that we focused on was thinking, majorly thinking skills as well as self-management skills and social skills. So what we did today in class was we made students stand in a line and asked the last student to draw something on the back of the preceding student. What was interesting after 5-10 minutes of this activity was to see how students received some information, probably some sense perception at their backs, and what was the output at the end of the activity. So one of the questions that was raised after this activity was that how did students organize the information that was the drawing that they could sense at the back, how did they made a sense out of it and they drew themselves. It was interesting to see how students were able to reflect again, an important part of self-management skills, that they were able to reflect and understand that when the input was confusion oriented, or they were disoriented, or when it was not clear to them, they were then trying very hard to organize that information in some sense of folders. So that definitely led to more inquiry based questions, that led to more thinking in class. A link was also made to TOK where we discussed if our pre-existing schemas impact how we receive information, and a classic example was shared with students. A child has encountered a cat. Apart from barks, 4 legs, tail and furry fits here, right?
So I read the Little Arbor study a few months ago, and I drew the connection between that and schema theory because they're both about being conditioned to react to or understand things in a certain way.
So this was like experiment about the baby that a doctor kept introducing new stimuli to, and each time he saw like a weird would make a loud noise, the baby would get scared. So would that also be
Yes. So that particular study, I think you're talking about the little Albert experiment. Yeah. So yes, the schema was formed that every furry thing is scary. One of the key takeaway from the class was for students to start reflecting that what we interpret around our world, how we encode and process the information that we receive, is not managed by some in any arbitrary sense. Rather, there is a system at work which we are mostly unaware of, and it's that system that often makes us stereotype people, make sense of the world so that we remember it and recall or retrieve it in sense that probably sometimes makes sense to only us and not the world.
Hi, my name is Shivani and I am from IB Diploma and I am a psychology student. I was a part of an activity that was conducted inside the class today. So it really evoked a sense of creativity in all of us, since we had to perceive it in our own ways based on our own experiences. Also, it was also a part of our ATL skills, mainly critical thinking, because it forced us to kind of guess what the person behind us was trying to make on our backs. And some people hunch their backs to maybe guess more accurately. But it was a challenging experience. However, it was fun enough.